Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. We're back with an old series to replace The Rambler, sadly lost to history. But we're back with Canada, trying to get Canada to the World Cup. And as you can see from the screen, I had someone help me fix up the graphics so that we're all ready to go from Mexico. Yay. And it looks a little festive, I'd say, with the red, white, and green. I think they're backwards. There probably should be green, white, and red, but, close enough. Anyway, the good news is, if we're qualifying for a Mexican World Cup, I think they take the host spot and then they're not qualifying in CONCACAF, which would give us an excellent chance of qualifying. And it would be kind of poetic because it would be 40 years since the last time we qualified, which was also in Mexico, 1986. So that would be rather nice. So it looks like we actually have a decent chance of qualifying, and I think that's just brilliant. Anyway, let's get over to the game. We're not going to get to any games today. I just want to have a quick look at the team and the changes that we've had since the last time you would have seen one of these episodes. If you've seen any of these episodes before. If not, you're more than welcome to go back and check out how the last pursuit of the World Cup goes. It's probably not a big spoiler at this point to say that we didn't make it. But the journey was kind of interesting. And here we are for another try at it. So let's have a look at some of the newer players that we've picked up as people have been revealed by our scouts and various other things. We've got Malik Hamilton here, who really has just pace going for him, but he has a lot of pace. So, and he played reasonably well, as I recall, in the first appearance he had. 6.8, so not too bad. That's not an unfair debut. It was against Argentina, so I would say that really that's pretty good. No, he's not new. Abudan Ladi is new. He's a Ghanaian who has decided to take up Canadian citizenship while he plays for Montreal Impact, and in doing so has decided that he would like to be eligible for Canada, and so here he is. And he's a reasonably good... I'm using him as a right winger. It looks like he's a reasonably good striker, and he might find his way into play there at some point. Who else? Daniel Mourinho. We're in a bit of a tussle with him at the moment. He's got one cap, but it was in a friendly against Uruguay just recently. But Portugal are actually trying to poach him from us. I don't know why. I don't think there's any real chance he'll be good enough to play for Portugal. He is already 28 years old, so he's not going to be getting any better. So I'm not sure why Portugal's trying to poach him from us, but it's really frustrating because he'd make a great second keeper for us. So that's a little frustrating. Lucas Berdusco, young fella. Not much going for him other than his physicals, but his technicals aren't terrible. I probably should rejig my my color scheme for playing at this level, because there just aren't very many people who get their stats up to a yellow level in this particular scheme. And the idea behind this scheme is that the better stats are brighter, so they should stand out more. The worst stats are dark, so they're hard to see, but that's okay because I know that they're low. So it works for me anyway. I hope it works all right for you. Who else is new around here? Nzemzela Langwa. Nzemzela Langwa. Great name. Crazy name. Wonderful name. Great name. Anyway, he's a fullback. He's not bad. He'll make a decent backup. Who else is still around? Oh, right. Also new, Russell Carnouse. Or Canouse. I don't know. Canouse. I'm going to say Canouse. He's got a bunch of yellow. We like yellow. That's really great. And they're great stats, too. Bravery, determination, leadership, and teamwork. So this guy is going to be a team leader for us. He's going to be a captain at some point, or at least a vice captain, because he's just got great leadership qualities. He's a reasonably good defensive midfielder. Marking, tackling, positioning, all quite good. His stamina is all right. His strength is reasonable. His mental stats are great. He's aggressive. He's got a good work rate. I mean, this guy's really good for us. He's just taken up Canadian citizenship. He's American, but has been playing for Vancouver for several years and has, because of that, taken up Canadian citizenship. So here he is. And that's a nice little tour of the new people we've got. While we are waiting to get scheduled into the World Cup qualifiers, we do have they're in the second round right now. They're playing that now in this period in June. So I guess that's not now, but soon in April. We're in April. We're going to play a bunch of friendlies. I'll do that offline. And although what I might do is put together a highlight package of those 3 games as an introduction to the team for you. And then we'll come back and we'll start with the Gold Cup, where we have been drawn with the most amazingly easy group. I cannot believe. And I shouldn't say too much about how easy this is, because we'll probably end up screwing it up and then, not qualifying or something. But really, Cuba, Guatemala, and Panama. Guatemala is the class of the group. They are ranked. Where are they ranked? Let's find out where they're ranked. They are ranked 117th. And yes, that's the class of the group. We are actually, no, I guess we're the class of the group, but because we're ranked at 90th or something like that. Panama is ranked at 120th. All right, so they're not too much below Guatemala. And Cuba, poor Cuba, is, I think, quite a bit below the rest of us. No, they're not. 111th. Well, so they're less further down than I thought, but I'm not too worried about any of those 3 teams. Guatemala maybe a little bit, but not much. I think we can hold our own against all 3 of those teams. By comparison, my goodness, one of the groups is just a little bit hefty. As far as CONCACAF goes, this is a group of death. All right, all of these teams are capable and have made the World Cup. All right, at one time or another. So Mexico, Jamaica the Reggae Boys have made the World Cup more than once. Costa Rica is in this current World Cup coming up. I don't know, did Trinidad and Tobago make it at the expense of the U.S.? Or was it just them beating the U.S. or not the U.S. not beating them that made, I can't remember what. But anyway, they're pretty good too. So that's kind of a great group, a group of death. U.S. got an also fairly easy group with El Salvador and Honduras being reasonably classy teams in CONCACAF. Haiti, a minnow. They're not going to upset anybody, I don't think. Ranked 107th. Well, they're higher than I expected. But I think it's going to be a great tournament, and I think we'll have a lot of fun with it. The last tournament, as I recall, we did fairly well. We got to the semi-final, I think. Past winners. 2021. There's the group stage. Alright, let's see how we did. Right, we finished second in our group behind Jamaica. We beat El Salvador 5-2. We lost to the U.S. 3-0 in the semifinal. I thought we'd done reasonably well. So yeah, we made it to the semifinal. That's not bad. The U.S. were hosts, obviously. That was not ideal for us, but that's what we can do. They are the hosts. That's going to be their position again. And look, Jamaica beat them last time. So Jamaica is going to be a force to reckon with in that Group B. So that's going to be pretty much it for today. I don't want to make it run very long because I don't want to just waffle for no particular reason. But there's an introduction to the team. At least to the new players of the team. I will go through the whole team when we start when I do the highlight game from the pre-cup friendlies. And probably what I'll do is throw in the highlights of the three and an introduction to the team. That should be Monday, and then on Wednesday we'll start to get to the games of the Gold Cup. And then in September, the World Cup qualification should be scheduled for the third round, which is when I expect we'll enter. The fifth round is the notorious Hex, when the top 6 teams from the fourth round end up facing off in a round robin that is quite hard. So that's going to be pretty much it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing the resurrection of this series. I'm really hopeful that, given that Mexico is the host, that we can actually make the World Cup. The only modifications that I've made to Canada for this series are that I've boosted our potential number to the same as Brazil's, which may or may not pay off in the long run, and I'll explain why in a second. And I strengthened the youth facilities at the 3 Canadian MLS clubs. That's it. I just wanted to make sure there was a decent supply of regens coming through, and to give us a chance long term. Now, one of the things that happened is that we've generated a few young players who are really impressive. But being Canadian, they are, of course, almost all eligible to play for more than one country, because Canada is a land of immigrants, and just as we have several immigrants in the team, people who qualified for another country and then transferred their allegiance to Canada, we also have many people born in this country who are eligible for more than one because their parents came from somewhere else, and so on. So basically, what we're having is a constant tussle. Every time there's a good player, he thinks he fancies himself good enough to play for Italy or Portugal or Germany or whatever team he's thinking of, and he tries to transfer his allegiance to them. And I mean, he does transfer his allegiance to them, and then I've got to try and argue him back. So boosting our production of young players has not necessarily worked out quite the way I might have hoped, but it definitely has improved the quality of the regens we're getting, and I think it will help us in terms of the modest goals that we have for this series, which, remember, is to get Canada to the World Cup and to score at least one goal. I know it's a modest goal, but Canada did that before. We got to the World Cup before in 1986 in Mexico, and we didn't score. And it was terribly disappointing to me. I was 20 years old at the time, and very much excited about playing for, my local club side and the City United side, and the sort of all-star side that we put together at the city level. Anyway, it's complex. But it was great, and to have them at the World Cup, and I just want to see if we can score at least one goal, because that would be fun. Anyway, enough waffling about my history and Canada's history and all the rest of that. I hope you're enjoying your day. I hope you have a great day. And in fact, I want you to take care. Bye.